Let's try this again. I'm just answering a question. I think I've done this video before, but I can't find that video. I have no scientific fact or anything to back this up, although I have read about it, read about coyotes and all this. And I've had the experience of those around me, as well as my own herd here. I have sheep, goats, and cattle, and chickens and ducks. Plenty of targets here, okay? But specifically, if you have your livestock, let's say it's sheep, you got a sheep herd. Coyotes, the point I was trying to make, coyotes can do less damage than domestic dogs. Okay, let me explain that. A coyote or a pack of coyotes, you could have 2 or 3 coyotes, they could come in, kill and eat a couple of sheep. Okay. But they'll do just that. They'll kill the sheep, they'll gut it, eat what they need at that point. If you left it there, they come back later that night, finish it off, maybe take 2-3 days of gnawing the bones down, or one of the cases. 2 sheep, 1 to 2. Now there's been extremes where it's been greater numbers and all that, but this is fairly typical. You got a coyote problem, boom, they kill a couple of your sheep, 1 or 2, and eat them. And they don't waste a lot of time chasing your sheep around. Coyotes are extremely fast. Okay, so when they get up, get it on, get it over with. It's not a drawn out affair. Okay, they don't have the energy to waste. They're very, very efficient. Domestic dogs, you take that same herd of sheep that you have. Domestic dogs will they'll run your sheep down. They'll pick one out and they'll run it down. They'll tear up under its like armpits and forearms. And finally the sheep will go down, either have a heart attack, go into shock, just be exhausted. And they might chew it up, gnaw on it for a while, and then they leave and go chase another one. Okay? They don't necessarily eat the sheep that they put down, and they don't necessarily kill it. Okay, but they do so much damage that you end up having to put the animal down, and put it that way. This I've experienced. But the big negative of the domestic dog, as soon as he wears one animal down, if he's still got energy, they go chase another one. And then another one, and another one. If you have 2 or 3 dogs, a group of dogs, you could have 20 sheep out there and damage 80% of them. Cut them up so bad they could abort if they're pregnant. Sheep aren't made to especially if it's the warmer time of year, if they still got a coat on them, it doesn't take long, they'll stroke out. I mean, it's just devastating. And once that sheep's down, they'll gnaw it a little bit, tear some hair off or whatever, chew the ears off or whatever. Oh, this was no fun. They go find another one. And if you don't catch it soon enough, they could go through your herd and just take their time and devastate your entire herd. I'm talking if you had like 20 sheep, could do hundreds, but they could do far greater damage than a group of coyotes. A coyote comes to eat. Okay. I'm not saying that they haven't, run sheep and herd them, or bigger numbers, whatever. But typically a coyote just comes to eat, and they will eat the animal. Okay. Dogs, domestic dogs, they come to play. They come to get in touch with their wolfness, and then go home and eat their kibble, wheat and crap and whatever else. Half of them can't even handle eating raw meat. They have no idea, don't even understand that. So it's when I make my point that domestic dogs are far more devastating, potentially devastating to a herd than a couple of coyotes. Now that doesn't mean I'm going easy on the coyotes, but that's the difference between the two. You have 2 different predators. One's preying upon a group to eat, to sustain itself. The other one's just having a great time. Okay, makes them very dangerous. And just as a side note, years and years, you used to hear about these cattle mutilations. You know, something surgically opens the animal up and removes organs and all that. And I think I did a video on this once before with coyotes. I'll just give you my personal experience. I had them. I had a year-old ewe female. It was 3 coyotes. I just know from the prints. I wasn't here when it happened. They got it by the jugular, took the animal down, and then made an incision just below the sternum, all the way down to where her teats would be. Okay. And fairly straight line, but it was also, it was a flap. Okay. She basically had her flap cut open, laid this back. She's laying on her side. Mind you, she's alive while this is happening. So when I tell people I have to shoot coyotes occasionally and they're, oh, how could you do that? They don't wait for the sheep to die. Well, let's wait till she's gone. Then we'll vivisect her. We'll cut her open. No. It takes a while for this animal to die. She just can't say anything, can barely breathe. Meanwhile, they're gutting her. Okay, so I have no sympathy for the coyote. But anyway, back to cattle mutilation. Sorry. They cut this animal open. It's like a flap, like a surgical flap cut open. They took the organs, ate the organs, the intestines. They brought the intestines out and ate it right up to where there was still some feces in her intestines. Took all these intestines out and ate it right up to where the feces were and stopped. Okay? As though someone just clipped it. And the organs were when a dog takes down a sheep, it's a bloody mess because they're basically they tear things up and they just bleed all over the place. When the coyote takes down these sheep, it's like a surgical move. It's just clean. You opened her up, her organs were gone. Okay, the intestines were taken out and set aside, eaten but set aside, and then all the organs were the heart, the lungs, all this stuff, gone. Okay. And that's the prime stuff for them. They'll come back later for the meat. We actually took the ewe, took her out further away from the rest of the group and chained the carcass to a fence post and set it up so as the other animals came back, we were able to get those over a several-day period. You're baiting them at that point. But the ones that got greedy came back and they got gone. But yeah, that's a side thing. A big difference if you're dealing with your livestock, coyotes can be a real bummer, okay? Domestic dogs having a good time can be devastating. And it doesn't matter if you have horses, whatever the case is. They're having a blast, and they can do absolutely... And what makes them absolutely the most damage, dogs can do the most damage, because let's say it's an animal that you choose to, a coyote kills them, a dog maims them. If you had a $150 sheep, you can't afford a $300 vet. You have to put the animal down. Okay, but what if you had a bull, a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 bull, and now you got to get a vet out to fix this thing? Just devastating. Just some stupid ass domestic dogs. Anyway, I'll shut up about that. But hopefully that answered your question. Love you. God bless.